Hello there guys, QwertyAfro here, welcome back to another video. In today's video, it's another Metro Simulator video. I think it is episode 13. Don't quote me, I'm really bad at following all of my episode counts for each series. I do actually run quite a lot of series on the channel, so I think it's 13, but correct me if I'm wrong. But it's another episode of Metro Simulator. In today's video, we're still on City of Thames. I do promise, I think one of the episodes, I think maybe the next episode for Metro Sim, I'm going to have a look back at the Glasgow map and do a Glasgow outer line, I think. I think I've done the inner line. Well, I've done one of them. I've done either one of the inner or the outer lines on the Glasgow map for Metro Simulator, but I've not driven yet in the Glasgow subway stock, if that's what the official name for that train is called. I do not know, but I promise that will be the next episode for Metro Simulator. But we're still in City of Thames, and for this episode I think it's going to be quite an interesting one in terms of, because I know the 2009 stock is a very popular stock. One of my open BVE videos has like one of the most, like, it has one of the highest view counts. I don't know why. The train in that video is complete trash, but the 2009 stock I guess is sort of popular. But in today's video, we're going to be back on City of Thames. We're going to be driving the Red Line, and we're going to be doing the Hendon Hall branch as well as the Beckton Junction branch, and we're going to be driving it in the 2009 stock. So let's get into the game. Let's get into the train, and let's do this. And we are in the game. Today we start off, we're not going to be driving to Hendon Hall. I thought we'd actually start from Hendon Hall, and as you can see, I'm actually watching one of the AI trains actually come into the station that's actually terminating. This station actually emulates, I would think, Elephant and Castle in real life, where it's an underground zone 1 sort of terminus station, even though there's Hendon in the title, and Hendon is very much so very North London, but the actual layout of this station is definitely giving me Elephant and Castle vibes. So anyway, we've watched that train come in now. We might as well have a look at what train we're driving, and here it is, the 2009 stock. Again, I'm using my modified activity file, where I've put all of the Hendon Hall, Beckton Junction branch Red Line trains. I've put it all as 2009 stock. So everything that's terminating here today is 2009 stock, and everything terminating at Beckton Junction on the Red Line is 2009 stock. So let's get the doors open. I do believe we have about, we're actually supposed to be departing anytime soon now. Do we have a green signal yet? Not yet, but one thing we can do is we could set up the display to show that we're terminating at, where is it? Beckton Junction. I have to say the detail on this 2009 stock for this game is actually quite nice. It looks really good. It looks a lot better than the BVE version that I was actually driving when in the playing open BVE series that I do on the channel. It looks very nice. The sounds as well are correct. As you heard, the door opening sounds are the same as the 2009 stock, not like the 1995-96 stock in the game. And as well as the D stock, they have sounds from the Central Line 1992 stock for some reason. This is the other AI that's come in. I think the AI as well uses selective door operation, so you can see some of the doors are closed and some of them are open. But enough of that AI. Let's get into our train and let's do this section of the route on the Red Line to Beckton Junction. So let's get in here. Very 2009 cab. It's like basically a mini S stock in here. But one thing I like, and I didn't really notice about the 2009 stock, obviously because it's ATO, the cab can be driven on both sides. I think on this side, on the left side, you can only drive it in ATO mode, while obviously this side has the actual dead man's handle, where you can drive it in manual trip cop mode, I would guess. But obviously we're driving it manually today. There's no ATO on this map or signaling wise, so it's going to be all manual or well, I can leave it on AI if I want to, if I wanted to do some sort of ATO mode, but I'm going to drive the train today myself. Let's get the doors closed. that kind of iconic 2009 door sounds. I do quite like it. It's quite sprightly. Right. All the kind of speeds are in some of these trains are in kilometers per hour, so but the actual speed limit boards on the actual track are in miles per hour. So you do have a thing here that you can glance left to on this side in the cab that actually does show what speed you're doing in miles per hour. So I'll abide to 15 miles per hour when we're crossing those points just outside of Hendon Hall. And we can apply a bit more power. Obviously, these trains in real life do operate at quite a high speed. As you know, the Victoria Line in real life runs at a very high frequency. Or pre-COVID, its kind of peak, you could have sort of 35, 36 trains per hour, which was the kind of like norm back then, when we used to have like proper peak services and peak time running. Anyway, the Hendon Hall branch itself on the City of Thames map is actually not. It's actually not that long. It just has, I think, this one station, intermediate station on this branch before we reach Palace Gardens, where we join up to the rest of the Red Line. Again, I like the nice detail here of the overbridge, the underground overbridge. And this is Hendon West. There we go. Perfect. Now, this is definitely one of the longer trains available to drive on this route. And I think some of the platforms do tend to be a bit tight at places, but it still fits. There's no kind of like platform that actually has like the back doors trailing off, but sometimes you have to literally go to the very far edge of the like stop marker or the end of the platform for everything to be to fit in properly. Anyway, let's let the doors close. Your little external departure here from Hendon West. One thing that's actually also interesting, when I did test this out and played this, I played this 2009 stop, doing this like line on the red line. It's really weird driving the 2009 stop overground, because obviously in real life, the 2009 stop is primarily just, the Victoria Line is underground fully. So driving this train, or just seeing this train outdoors, where like other sort of lines like the Jubilee, Northern, Bakerloo, Piccadilly, the other kind of like deep level tube lines, they all run outside for most of their kind of like portion of the line. So seeing the 2009 stock in like an environment where, like, say this is something you wouldn't see. You probably only see it when it goes up to its depot at Northumberland Park. So it's a bit odd. I kind of like it. I think it's such a shame we didn't see more kind of like 2009 stock trains, upgraded to other lines, because obviously this is a platform of train that could still be brought in if TfL wanted to replace older stock on other deep level tube lines. But obviously now I think the thing is that they've kind of chosen to go with a Siemens product with the new Piccadilly line trains. I think they're going to be called 2024 stocks, I think they're going to be called, when they're introduced into service. And then I think even after that, for like the Central Line, Bakerloo line, and I think Waterloo and City as well, they're going to just use that sort of Siemens platform for all of the upgrades in the future. So it's a bit sad. Obviously the S stock with I think it's the Movia family of train, the Bombardier Movia family, that was obviously used on all the subsurface stock lines. The 2009 stock, which is actually still part of that Bombardier Movia family of train. The only line it got on was the Victoria line. So there's a 1973 stock, which I've put onto the Barlow Heights branch in the activity file. But yeah, it's a bit sad that we're not going to be able to see the kind of like 2009 stock type of train on other lines. It's just basically designated to the Victoria line only, which I guess is kind of cool, because I think when the subsurface lines got upgraded just to the S stock, it was a bit kind of like, I think what was so cool about the underground, or the tube, is that every line had its own sort of bespoke stock of train, while it feels like with the kind of S stock, when that was all upgraded for the subsurface lines, it all got sort of harmonized as one train, and kind of all became uniform. So, and I think in the future, with obviously these new Siemens trains that are coming in for the Piccadilly, Bakerloo, Central, Waterloo and City, is that more, you're not going to see the variation of different stocks. Like, each line has its own sort of like character. And even like something with like the Jubilee and Norden, which have very similar stocks, they're still different. The 1995 and 1996 stock have very different like characteristics and sounds and interior. While it feels like with the S stock, it's all just uniform stuff. Like the only thing that tells it apart is that like the S8 has an extra carriage, and then like on the Metropolitan line S8 variants. They have Metropolitan line network maps on board, while everything else for that, the District, Hammersmith and City and Circle line, is just, it's the same train, and they all have the same maps, because they can all be used on any of those three lines. Right, so we're in essentially the same sort of we're in the core now of the Red Line, Torquay Towers. This is all basically going to be, we've seen this all before from my video when I was driving the 1996 stock to Ealing Central. Everything till I think it is everything till Elmwood Central. We've already seen, and after that, once we get to the Beckton Junction branch, then we'll see kind of that, and then obviously at some point in the future come back and do the green line that goes to Beckton Junction, that starts I think from Aldgate, or on some of the activity files there's different variations of the routes. Do a little interior shot. But the sounds, I have to say, are quite nice actually for this 2009 stock. I definitely think out of all of the underground trains, I think this definitely sounds the most realistic. I don't know what you guys think. As well, if you want to play this 2009 stock in your game, it's available on the MetroSim wiki. It is really easy to put in. It shows you on the individual stock page where you can actually download this. But I think this train already is within the game file, so I don't even think you need to download it. All you need to do, if you want to add it into an activity file, all you need to do is just paste the appropriate bit of text in the ACT file, which is on the page where you can download the train. And then the ACT file can be found in the MetroSim files, where the kind of like activity sort of things are. Right, and hopefully in this video we're going to try and not have a spad. That would be preferable. I don't want to whip out my editing skills and slap on a wasted animation. But that was fun. I did have fun in that last episode, editing that. Was it the last episode? No, it was the episode before. It was the first episode I did on City of Thames when I was driving the 1996 stock on the red line. I didn't have a spad on the green line where I was driving the D stock. do like that you can kind of just like swap seats in this cab and just drive from either side. I think the thing with mainline trains, normally on mainline trains, the driver would sit on the left side of the train. That this is probably like more kind of noticeable in trains that have gangway doors in the middle that go through the cab. All the driver controls are normally centered on the left side of the actual vehicle of the cab, and then more kind of modern units that just have like one windscreen tend to be centered in the center. But some trains, like the class 345 trains I drive in real life, actually we don't actually sit dead center. We actually sit a little bit more to the left, while compared to a class 700 on Thameslink, those drivers sit, I think, bang on center. There are some trains, like some older kind of variants, like, you know, if you think of like class 357s or 170s, or what's another one? Networkers, like the 166. No, they're turbo networkers. But the 166, 165, the 465, 466, 365, those have like no gangway in the middle of the cab, but they still have the controls centered to, well, positioned on the left side, which I just think is, I don't know what the reasoning actually is to why drivers are centered more to the left. I guess, I don't know if it's something to do maybe with most platforms are to the left, so it's just to have more visible. And also, well, actually, no, actually, the biggest thing, I don't even know why this didn't occur to me, most of the signals are positioned on the left. So, of course, they would try and position the driver in the cab more to the left, so the visibility of oncoming signals is actually clear to driver. I don't know why that kind of blew my mind. That's why signals that are positioned on the right, and there are locations like that in real life where it's not practically kind of convenient engineering wise or location wise to place a signal in a normal kind of position, where the best kind of signal, if we're actually talking about signals here, for a driver, or just a normal typical signal, is a signal that is on the left side, that is the height of it is in line with the driver's eyesight. That is ideally the best signal. Any other signal that's like, maybe that's a signal that's on the top on a gantry, or maybe below on the ground, even if it's on the left-hand side, is a risk signal. There's a risk to it because it's not in the normal position that a signal should be. Those signals are positioned elsewhere because of, like, I don't know, infrastructure challenges or whatever. And then you even have more riskier signals, like signals that are placed on the right, signals that are not in view, where you would need maybe a banner repeater, or a coacting signal where you have a signal mirroring the same signal on the opposite side, because you won't be able to see the actual signal in time. So signals are a very interesting thing. I could even do a whole video just talking about different types of signals. I don't know if anyone would be interested in that, but there's a lot of like stuff in terms of like how signals are positioned, different types of signals, of course, and they all, most of the ones that aren't in the kind of normal position do pose like risks in terms of like sighting and, you know, it's stuff to be aware of, driver. But I like that you can just change your position in this cab to, I guess, make it more visible for the driver. I guess Victoria Line drivers, like, when they come into a platform that's on the left-hand side, they switch over to the left. So obviously, they're just, I don't know, they can see the signal. Like right now, on this position, I can't see the signal that's on the left-hand bottom side. So I'd scoot over, but obviously I don't think there's a camera view to go on the left side. But it's just, I guess that's why they put both controls on the same side. Obviously, the manual driving is on the right side, which is a bit weird, but I guess that's how it's been designed for the Victoria Line. I guess as most platforms on the Victoria Line are on the left-hand side. No, they're on the right-hand side. I think most of them, all of them, are on the right-hand side. Maybe. Don't know. Someone quote me down below. I don't know. Anyway, where are we? We are. I've been just chatting away with Sig. I'm surprised I've been able to stop so effortlessly at all these stations without even overrunning or even underrunning. We're at Central Square. And I can see that there's stuff behind me, so I might need to pick up the pace a little bit. But not too bad. Let's maybe do another internal departure. Get going. I have to say, the Victoria, I've been on the Victoria Line in real life for quite a number of times. It goes so fast. Like the ATO on the whole signaling setup on the Victoria Line is just like, it's so efficient. It's probably the most, I would say, has to be the most frequent tube service on the network. Like in its heyday when it used to run, I don't know if it still runs 36 trains per hour in peak, obviously due to COVID and whatnot. But literally, a train will pull out, a train will pull in. That's the kind of frequency we were talking about with the Victoria Line, and it was pretty incredible to see. And it kind of just, it kind of questions this. Well, this is quite a imagine this on the Northern Line. It begs the question of why people on the Northern Line run for trains. Why do they get so pissed off that they miss one train when another train's pulling in? But then again, I think probably most people on the Victoria Line who are frequent users of the Victoria Line in real life, I think probably they know the deal. They know that, I don't have to rush. And I think that's the kind of good thing in terms of capacity and frequency, is if you build it like this, if there's like a frequent service, like one every minute, one every 2 minutes, people don't have to rush. People know that they can just walk in, come down, the train's probably pulling out, but there's another train pulling in, sort of thing. Or there's a train waiting at the platform. Right. Depart. Let's go. I think the next station is Aldgate, and I think this was the station that I spadded in the first City of Thames episode, so I need to be a little vigilant here. Just a bit vigilant, I've learnt from my past mistake. And the brakes are solid. I think the brakes on all these London Underground stop trains are pretty good. But here we are. This well, it's not going to leave it. I'm probably so behind now in the timetable because I held up a few trains that it's going to just clear as soon as I come in. Because probably the gap between me and the next train ahead is going to be quite long. This is Aldgate. Change for the yellow and green line. Let's rock and roll. I don't even know what the speed is. I think the speed limit's 50 miles per hour in these like tunnel sections. And see if we can like make up any sort of time. But I don't know what, like, if I pop out the little thing here that tells you what to do, it's actually telling me what to do in terms of the service that starts from Barlow Heights, because obviously this is the Barlow Heights activity that I've edited. I think you can edit this as well in the ATC file. I think you can edit it to tell the like player what they should be doing. It's just like a bit of text that you edit to have it come up differently. Perfect. Not too bad actually, not too bad at all. Now in Rumbold Way. That's a bit of a curve. I don't think there's actually many curves as well on the Victoria Line. Seeing this all curve is a bit foreign to the eye. Or maybe there are curved platforms on the Victoria Line, but I don't recall any off the top of my head. Please mind the gap between the train and over there you can hear wherever it is, the 1973 stock, which has that nice. Is it Sonia? I think the voice for that announcement. I'm driving very well in this episode. Like, it's a bit suspicious. Like, I'm not even thinking about the driving. I'm just chatting away in my commentary and okay, that one was suspicious. Yeah, the sounds definitely. This is probably my favorite train to drive on this map. Right, Acton Lane. Next station, Acton Central. And this is where it gets a bit bizarre, like going overground, going out into the daylight with the 2009 stock. It feels like it shouldn't be allowed. But, and it's, you know, driving alongside the D stock and 1996 stock and the S stock as well, even though it is basically a baby S stock. All sorts of weird. But you know, this is what this game is all about in terms of shaking up a bit with the AI config. And I'm gonna guess it's about here. I'm not too sure. See, these are some of the platforms where you have to be a little bit careful. So you can see right now, if I stopped a little bit short, or if I stopped in sort of position where I would maybe normally stop with the 1996 stop, this door would be like, you know, here past the boundary gate. So this is where it gets a little funny with some of the platforms, but generally you can fit. As I said, there's no platform where it shouldn't be able to fit. It should all be able to. Well, every station fits this train. I think this is the longest train as well in the game. It does go. I think this does have a faster acceleration than any of the other trains. Definitely it's definitely fast. Like the slowest one is probably the 1974 stop. 74 stop, 73. I don't know why, but I keep mixing up the 1973 stop and putting it with saying it's a 1974 stop. I don't know why. Because obviously the old Victoria Line train was 1969 stock. And then the Bakerloo is in 1972, and the Piccadilly is in 1973. Oh no! Oh no! Well, right, shall we proceed and continue with this, because I didn't think I was going to whip out the spadded slash wasted animation, but don't worry, powers of editing, the powers of having to restart and do everything again is just the things I do to keep things moving along. But don't worry, it's all good. You guys didn't have to sit through that. But I'm here back at Elmwood Central, and I'm sorry I couldn't keep my end of the bargain and not SVAD in another episode here, but things happen. But we are actually now on time because I've been just literally trailing with a fast forwarded time and trailed with a AI train, so everything is to time. But nothing, everything for you guys it'll just be seamless. So we're just continuing here from Elmwood Central. Of course, here with the red line before, we branched off and just carried on straight here to Ealing Central. We're now going on the Beckton Junction branch, which we're getting a nice junction indicator to here, which is taking us onto the Beckton Junction branch. So, without further ado, I guess we should get going. And hopefully, no more spads. Again, just really weird, just seeing a 2009 stop and some overground platforms. That looks normal. That looks fine. Even the 1996 behind us looks fine too.
Between the train and the platform.
Right. Perfect. Now we can hit the power a little bit more. Start going. I think here as well is one of the main depots on the map. It's Elmwood depot. I think red line trains as well as green line trains can be stabled here, and there are a few activities that you can play in and out from this depot, as well as doing some stock transfer activities where you're just moving around trains from one depot to another, or one siding to another siding kind of thing. But yeah. First new station in the series, because I don't think I'm not showcased this in a video yet, this branch, so everything here is a little new for the series. Right. This station is Elmwood Bridge, where the actual bridge itself is over there. But yeah. It looks all right actually outside, to be quite honest. The 2000 stock. It's a baby S stock, so it kind of looks right, but also doesn't look right, because obviously you see S stocks out and about. It's just a little bit of a shorter S stock kind of thing going on. Anyway, get doors closed. Probably just do a lot of external departures at these stations. And also the sounds are not as choppy as the 1996 stop, where it cuts off after a time when you look to externally depart. That's nice. Bit of a gradient here down from the bridge. But I think there's about 3 or 4 stops between Elmwood Central and Beckton Junction, and obviously here we're sharing tracks with the green line, so you're going to be seeing some D stock, some refurbished, one I think that's unrefurbished, which we might see, we might not see, and the rest is S stock. You can see the timings here. It's actually quite. The Beckton Junction branch has quite tight timings, because obviously you have the green line, you have the red line, and obviously this red line branch, or the Hendon branch that goes between Hendon Hall and Beckton Junction, is the most AI intensive, or the most service intensive. So there's obviously a lot of red line trains going on this branch. Plus, with the green line, it means that the turnaround time actually, or the turnaround of trains at Beckton Junction is actually quite a lot. And as you can see here, get a nice green line map and a red line map. And then, yep, so there was Elmwood Bridge, here's Beckton Park, Beckton Heights, and Beckton Junction as the last station on this branch. Alright. I do a little too much excessive external departures, but it's alright, especially when you have a good looking model train like this. Nice speed of 50 miles per hour. Which I don't know what the Victoria Line, I don't know what the max speed on the Victoria Line is set for with the CBTC system that runs it. If it's like, I know for like the S stock, it's 62 is the max speed. I don't know if it's the same with the 2009 stock, or maybe slightly lower, maybe 55 or something like that. Beckton Heights. Perfect. That's perfect. I feel really bad that I had that spat. Like, I really do. Like, if everything was going so I was just driving it like I was driving this train like a dream, and just all this, I don't know what came over me. I think I forgot that there was a speed activated signal there, so I thought like, oh, it's fine. I'll just floor it to a good, like a really fast speed, and then and then just like, oh, well, the brakes will do. But I think I was going way too fast to even come down for that. To be honest, I would have stopped for the platform, but obviously it wasn't about that. It was about the speed like set signal. You get to be below like 15 miles per hour for it to clear. I think here we should be going at like 35 miles per hour. Just leave it like that. And what's bad is obviously I can't see the signal of the cab, but we are into the platform. As we descend nicely down into Beckton Junction, which I think is kind of like... Is it like... Well, it has a tram. It has a tram... it has a tram platform terminus thing on the side here. So... I don't know what this could be emulating in real life. What is actually to a real life? Is it Beckton Junction's not like this in real life. And you have to be doing 10 miles per hour. I think it does trip if you go more. And then we have an S stock as well. It's daddy, mummy S stock, and 2000 stock's a little child. Let's get back in the cab here. So we nicely come down, and I think in this activity these two platforms here are for the red line, and that platform over there is for the green line exclusively. I think it's kind of set that way. I don't think it but I've seen green line trains in other activities use the other platforms. Let's go to about, I think here's good. Perfect. We can just swap to the other. Oh, and you can see, look at that. Train right behind me. But yeah, there we go, guys. That is the 2009 stock. And yeah, stock there as well. But that's the 2009 stock for City of Thames on the Red Line. Again, this is a little custom activity kind of file that I've done where I've put the Hendon Hall branch terminators and Beckton Junction terminators of the Red Line as 2009 stock. Left the rest as either 1973 or 1996 stock, and as well the green lines as well edited a bit. But this is nice. You'll never see this in real life though. 2009 stock and S stock all sat nicely at one terminus platform. But yeah, not bad. That's actually not a bad shot there, isn't it? Pretty cool. And then S stock is going to be nicely departing. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed this another episode of playing Metro Simulator on the City of Thames map on the Red Line. I mean, you know what you think about this 2009 stock? I definitely think it's one of my favourite tube stock available to play with on the actual on this actual map. Let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. Any other suggestions for Metro Sim videos? Would like to hear them in the comments. And other than that, take care, guys. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
We